Hello, hello, hello. This is Andy over at Falco Canine Academy. Finally live after it was probably just before July 4th, somewhere around there, that we last went live. But so much has happened. Of course, the 4th of July, happy Independence Day. 3 days after the fact? I'm in a new studio. As you can see, the mountains behind me are here in my new studio. And what else? My son and I have been building a half pipe. I'll show you. So those of you that don't know what a half pipe is, my son and I have been busy. Hold on. I got to bring up. Ooh, did I just turn upside down? That'd be interesting to know if I actually did just turn upside down. Here's a half pipe. My son are building. That's about the stage we're at right now, where we have the ribs up, and now we're getting ready to lay down the plywood. And so the next thing that it will looks like this. And you got those, skid poles up there. I should probably know what those are. Anyway, that's what we're building right now. So I've been building that and training the dogs at the same time. So needless to say, it has been something else. Ooh, wow, look at that. I just hit the, let's come back to this camera. And so needless to say, between the training of the dogs and everything else, it's really been hard to set up the cameras because either way, I still got to get the scheduled time with the dogs so that they get trained in a timely manner and that we progress. One of the other things we did, which is something that some of you may need to know as you're training your own dogs, is that sometimes you need to take a break. So two things were happening, and I had mentioned them before with Flash and Ollie, and that is, it was getting very difficult, and I was getting to the point where I was feeding them a full bowl, which is probably about 8 cups of food, plus an addition of, I can almost see it over here. There's an additive that I was adding there to kind of help bulk up the dogs, because we have 3 things that are going on here. While I was training them, we didn't have a kennel set up, so they had kind of free run in the backyard. So the 2 of them would run around much of the day, which did not slow down their energy for training, not a bit. Some of you may wonder, well, what we do with our dogs is we make sure and harness their energy and only use it for training. Again, part of the success that we've had here has mostly been in the area of how we select dogs. So the selection of the dogs overcomes some of the other issues that many other people have with the training of dogs, because the selection process has so many steps in it to make sure that we're finding the right dogs to do the job, that even as these dogs, we're running them around the backyard and burning a lot of energy, a lot of calories, obviously, that in addition to that, the training process, which burns even more calories, because now not only is it physical, but it's also mental, which also burns calories and energy. And then the heat of the summer. Sorry, I forgot what the other thing was. The heat of the summer causes a lot of panning, which on its own burns energy because the body is trying to cool. It's been nearly 100 degrees here. These dogs, again, come from Ireland, and so they come from a very mild climate, to say the least. And this sudden 90 to 100 degree weather that they've been thrown into has added to the very difficult aspect of keeping weight on them. And we've had them checked out health-wise. There's no worms. There's nothing else going on. So it's just merely that the amount of, and we're using high-quality food. Again, I did a show from Kreiser's, where we get our food currently, and it's a high-end, high-protein, full of nutrient type of food. And so, again, all of these things have made it difficult. So what we need to do now, to the point, is we took 3 days off, almost 3 days. It's been about 2.5 days off of doing nothing. I erected the kennel. The dogs are in their kennels now, so they're not running around free all day long. I can do nothing to do with the heat. The heat is what it is, and there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about that. Did not train them for 2.5 days, essentially to allow them to just kind of be kenneled, eating food, and kind of bringing that calorie intake up to a point where they're actually maintaining some weight. It has been, I'm telling you, it has been not easy. to do all of those things and maintain their weight at the same time, because these are energetic dogs that are ready to work. I'm to the point now that I just take them into a location and they begin searching. No longer do we have to give them any clues or cues to begin searching. They just start searching. And that has kind of been from the beginning, but not really. We're confused by the cinder blocks where we're doing the scent imprintation, and then take them in the buildings for the first time. They're looking around and sniffing the trash can. So now they're all getting in there. So the video you're going to see is actually probably about 4 or 5 days old. So I haven't been able to get anything lately. Again, it's been a little bit crazy doing the half pipe, building the studio, which you see behind me right now, and just building the kennel. And I have 5 kids. So add all that up, and I'm a single dad. So the time to set up cameras, get it into a computer, download it, put it in a sequence that makes sense, and then get it up to you guys has just been a little bit difficult. So that's why we've been off for such a long time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play a video. It's going to be from two different training sessions, a day apart. So one day and then the following day. And this is residential searches. This will be our first time in a home where you have the distractions of food on the ground, kids' toys. I don't think I'm in any major bedrooms, underwear, all the things that would distract dogs, shoes, toys laying on the ground, like stuffed animal toys, not just tennis balls and other types of balls on the ground. I keep everything on the ground unless I really have to remove it to then kind of build up the tolerance of the dogs. But right off the bat, I want to identify issues with all the dogs. So I just leave everything right where it's at: food and toys and stuffed animals and what have you, trash cans, dog food bowls, all that kind of stuff. I leave it out in the environment. I work from that point and then work back. But thankfully, they only try to grab a toy here and there. I just say or no, and they leave it and begin doing their search. So let me go back. I got to go back to the Facebook page here just to make sure we're still on. I can see the video is kind of struggling. It is probably because it is hot. I don't know, but we'll see. I try to make it cool by putting these mountains in the background so that it would give the impression that it's kind of cool. It's not. It's nearly 100 degrees today. All right, so let's go back over to my program here, and I'm going to begin the video. I'm going to see if I can't add the sound. I have the audio selected also here. Sometimes it plays, sometimes it doesn't. So here is the video playing. And so the find is in the underneath that chair. And it's 2 vials, each vial containing probably 4 or 5 bugs. And this is Flash. Again, this is their first search in a residential home. I give a little bit of direction. Oh, I just saw a comment come up. I'll get to that comment in 1 second as I'm narrating the video. And you're going to see that the dogs will be sniffing up above, and there's a delayed sit based on either a cue or something the dog thought I gave, or the dog actually went through the odor. And we see that on occasion as you're training these dogs, and this will continue on even with the new handlers for a good 6 months, where they're trying to figure each other out. So you can see the dog's tail wag. You can see Flash. He's picking up something and he's waiting. He's asking questions. He's beginning to search around. And I'm sorry that the video is so dark, but again, lighting and all that kind of stuff is a little difficult as you're just trying to set up training. Now the dog smells some odor. He's sitting, but there's confusion. You see how he's smelling. He's actually getting up and moving around. I'm trying not to answer any questions by cueing him, by saying, "What do you got, buddy?" Or any of the typical, I was going to say crap. The typical crap you hear handlers say. Gosh, I watch so many videos of police dog handlers and other bed bug dog handlers, and they're just constantly talking to their dog. They're saying, "What do you got? Show me. What do you got?" all the time. Until you're sure the dog has odor, it really is best not to say anything to your dog until the dog gives you the location. If you then want to say, "Show me," to have the dog go back so that you can reward based on his nose being in proximity to the find, then that's entirely different. But before you are sure the dog knows where the odor is coming from, where the source is, that "Show me, where is it? What do you got, buddy?" All the other stuff that I hear all the time just needs to stop, and you need to knock it off. All right, so I'm just basically just kind of standing around. You see me kind of looking around. I'm not giving the dog any indication as to what it is that he's supposed to be doing. He'll get up on his own, and his job is to show me where it's at. I don't do a silly dance like rock back and forth. I don't do anything like that. I just kind of ignore the dog and pretend that I'm just kind of clueless on anything. If I need to, I can give the dog the hint to get his nose down where it needs to be. But you don't want to do that very often. You don't want to make a habit of that, because then the dog will look for you to do that every time. So don't do that. Now you can see the body language change, the tail wag, and I give the dog a reward. So remember that getting the dog in a place where he can actually find it in the beginning is good and necessary. But what you need to understand is that you need to not continue to do that, right? The dog, after a while, should learn how to get his nose into the places it needs to be. How to maneuver around. Here is Ollie, and the camera's even in a worse angle. I'm sorry, but that's the best I can do. I think one of the dogs hit the camera during the search, so we're searching that whole room. It's just I have the video camera trained on that back of that chair, so there's no sense just watching that chair and not seeing us work around the other room. And Ollie did really good there. He kind of went to it right away and made that find. So every dog has their moment where they happen to get into odor right away and have success, and other dogs, miss it, go over the top of it, and that kind of stuff. So, all right. So here's a different location. There it is on. I think this is a different day. It depends. Let me see what kind of clothes I got on. I apologize because sometimes, like I said, it's been hot, so I'm in a tank top, and just kind of casual wearing. Here's why you don't wear flip flops, like right there. The dog stuck his nose right in where the find was right away. So that's Flash. So Flash stuck his nose in. Here's something. The dog missed the throat, right? And they didn't know where the ball went. So now he's like, I'm confused. So what you can do is actually, if the dog never doesn't see you pick up the ball, you can pick it up and just have the dog confirm where the find is. Now, he didn't get the reward the first time, and now he can get the reward second. This is kind of the beginning stages of maybe beginning to train the dog the variable reward system, where the dog begins to understand that he's not going to get rewarded for every time he makes a find, and that is fine. All right, here goes Flash. I think this time he actually kind of goes by it once or twice. And so, like I said, every dog has their moment where he's doing a really good sniff of this couch and trying to find the source. It looks like he's sitting there, and he probably is, but he's trying to get the reward without having to work maybe, or he's just trying to figure out the whole game. But he moves on fairly quickly. Here you begin to see how we begin to search the other room and that kind of stuff, or the rest of the room. And now he, of course, is on the opposite side of the find. And I'm just moving around. I'm not, you see the leash get tight, but I'm not pulling on it. I'm not correcting him. I'm not tugging on it really hard. I'm just making sure the dog understands that he needs to have tolerance to that kind of stuff and not react to every time he feels maybe tension on the line. He's looking to me for help. He goes, I smell something in there. It's about 1.5 feet underneath that couch on that corner. So he can smell it, but he's not quite sure where it's coming from. His tail's picking up a speed. He's getting a different position. I think he gets it better, and see how he sticks his head a little bit farther down and sits in nice find for that dog. Awesome. All right. So here we are in the bedroom, and the dog is going to come around. Right away, I think Flash got the odor and wanted to go there right away. Look how fast the dog goes to the source. Actually gets his toenail in there and pulls out that drawer, pushes it back in, and then gives me the sit. Bam. Might as well reward that. That dog was giving me all the indications that he recognized the odor. Inside that particular drawer at the bottom is 1 vial with 3 bugs in it. So a pretty small amount of bugs there. All right, and here comes Ollie. And again, there isn't much room in this room, so we're not searching that far off of camera. He's smelling around. He actually smells it. These are canvas drawers, so you're going to see that he actually smells it at the bottom of this canvas drawer. And you see his tail wagging. He can smell something. We're going to go back and forth there a little bit. Kind of goes behind me. Not the greatest search pattern on this particular search, but it was fine. See him lick his lips, and I'm waiting for him to stick his nose inside the hole and reward. Nice. Good. All right. So I'm not sure if you can hear the sound or if I'm actually talking over it or not. But those are some of the searches we've been doing for the last couple of days. You can see that it's really coming around here. I'm going to try to get back to some of these comments here really quick. Hey, Gina. I heard a yes. I'm wondering, or I see a yes. You're answering probably somebody's question. When working an area, must the dog always be on a leash? Agility, herding, work off leash. It's not here in Mississippi. It's hot here too in Mississippi. Oh gosh, I can imagine. Probably humid too, I'm guessing. So the question here Catherine has is, should appear there. There you go. Is when working an area, must the dog always be on leash? Agility, herding, working out. Now you're bringing in other stuff, right? So in the beginning, on leash makes it easier for me to. Sorry, I was looking up at where there's not a camera. Makes it easier for me to control the dog's work space, work area. The unfortunate thing that many handlers do, and I see this in a lot of police dog handlers, is they use the leash to maneuver the dog, to influence the dog, to do a lot of stuff with the dog. Really, in detection dog work is to maintain the area where the dog can be successful in locating the source, the odor, and then the source of the odor. You want to be very careful that you're not too short on the leash, which is one of the hugest problems, one of the biggest problems that bedbug dog handlers and narcotics dog handlers and probably bomb dog handlers, not so much because they like to get away from their dogs a little bit, but is that they're so close and that they're doing this thing, right? And they're doing this really wacky, like I'm really close to my dog and they're tapping stuff and it annoys the crap out of me, number one. Number two, the dog cannot search that way. It is so hard for the dog to concentrate on you being so close and you tapping crap. And with a short leash, anytime you stop, you're going to influence the dog to sit. And you'll get a dog to sit. So many videos that I'm watching right now of police narcotics dog searching is that very thing. They're so close. They're influencing the dog. The dog is walking essentially maybe 6 inches away from him. Not cool. Not good, and totally influencing the dog to alert and to get inside vehicles. Same thing happens with bed bug dog handlers, is that they have heard that there's bed bugs and that kind of stuff, and when you have the dog that close, you're simply going to influence the dog, and they wonder why does my dog have so many alerts where I can't actually find the bugs? Well, probably it's because you influence the dog to sit in some form or fashion. So at the end of the 6 foot line, allow the dog to work. If you need to shorten the leash up a little bit to shorten the area, to decrease the area where the dog gets away from the potential of making the find, then do that. But be careful that you don't stay there. What the dog needs to learn is how to be successful on his own and not influenced by you and your leash and your positioning. So as you work the dog, you want to eventually get to the end of that 6 foot line where the dog is working at a distance from you, and you can merely just stand here. And with a 6 foot leash and the 2 or 3 feet of your arm, you got about 8 to 9 feet, right, where the dog can begin to search. And you can stand back and really watch the dog's body language, and you're just standing here. You can, and in many rooms, you can almost stand in the middle of the room and watch the dog work almost the entire room and barely even moving your feet. At some point, to answer your question now, you can get off leash. And I think that, I did have a video where the dog was working off leash, but he was going off camera. I decided not to use it. Is that we do a lot of searches with the dog off leash. Once the dog begins to learn the pattern, the dog will come into the room and just begin searching a very distinct pattern because you've done a good job. If you've done a good job of really showing the dog how he's supposed to search by not influencing him, allowing him to be self-sufficient and successful on his own, the dog will learn how to be successful on his own without you being there. If the dog becomes dependent on you, remember how I said I showed the dog where to get his head so he could be successful? If you do that too much and for too long, now the dog needs you to do that. And so in the beginning, you need to show the dog to do it once, right? Maybe a second time, but probably not a third time. If you're going 4 and 5 and 6 times, now you're causing yourself some problems. It's going to be really hard for the dog now to do something now without your influence. It's like, have you ever given somebody a ride and they tell you to turn right, turn left? Okay, go straight for about a mile. Okay, turn left here, right? And then if you get asked to go to that same location, you have no idea how you got there. You need that person to tell you how you got there because they were there the first time you did it, right? It's not until you take the drive yourself without the help of somebody else that you learn the directions and the path to the end location, the location you're trying to get to. It's not until you do it on your own that it really sticks into your brain and into your memory bank, right? And so the same thing with the dog. If the dog is helped every time and giving the directions every time, why does the dog ever need to learn how to do it on his own? So begin to not influence the dog, begin to not direct the dog at the point where the dog begins to understand where to get its head. There's follow-up video that I didn't show you that I come and redo those areas all by itself, and the dog goes right to it. I didn't show you that because it looks very obvious, and it causes confusion. Go, well, the dog already knew where they're at. Well, kind of. Dogs forget very easily. Many dogs, not all dogs, but many dogs forget very quickly. And I think I showed you that in the cinder block. We use the same cinder block every time, but the dogs, oh, is it in this one? Is it in this one? No, it's in the fourth one. You knew it was there. And so the dogs can forget very, very quickly. And it's almost like a new search where they're trying to find it. Now, you can only do that so often, and the dog just simply goes to the chair or goes to that box and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I hope that answered your question. We do a lot of off-leash stuff. Now, if you're talking about a leash on a vehicle that's pulled over on the side of the freeway, always on leash. Not even the best. I would not recommend even the best dogs to search a vehicle on its own on the side of a road without a leash. And again, I see lots of videos where it's done. I see lots of patrolmen get their dogs out and they start searching a vehicle on the side of a freeway with their dog off leash and doing searches. And my dog's under total control. My dog is perfect. The moment you believe your dog is perfect, you're in trouble, because that's when a deer comes out of nowhere and runs across the freeway and your dog gives chase, or a rabbit or a cat or something like that. Oh, my dog doesn't chase cat. Okay, well, there's going to be something that could get your dog. Why would you take a chance? Just learn how to search well at the end of a leash, a 6-footer, 8-footer, long line, right? So you don't have to worry about the dog running out. And then on occasion, work off leash so you can proof that the dog works on his own without the influence of the leash, without needing to be on leash. And it's easier for you when you're searching for, and you have a bed bug dog and you're searching 45 to 50 rooms, it's so much easier for you to stand back at the door, send the dog in and watch the dog search, call the dog back, go into the next room. Why work hard, right? The reason you paid as much for a dog as you did is that they're supposed to be searching for you. You're not supposed to necessarily be searching with them. You're supposed to be managing the search and watching the search, but not searching with them. Wow. I went on a long tangent with that. That's what I do. I'm studying this for my master's thesis, and he recommended reading. My books, all my books, read all of them. Number one. And I don't know. There's not. Oh gosh, Cass. He also posts in the Bed Bug Super Secret group a lot. He may know of some trainings. There are some books out there. There's a tracking book. Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it. I don't see it there. There's a couple good tracking books that are out there. I will have to look them up and then maybe post them on Falco Canine Academy. And so you can see what those are. Those are for tracking human beings. And there's one for police dogs. The gentleman passed away, didn't just pass away, probably passed away about 3 or 4 years ago. And I just can't remember the name of it. I will have to find it and give it to you. Catherine, I will put up a link also after I get done with this video. I'll put it up. But if you go into Amazon and just type in my name, Andy Falco Jimenez, a list of my books and journals will come up. And then Hulu is where I have some books too. So HULU, Hulu.com. Just type in my name there. So let's do. I should have that stuff handy, right? If I was any kind of marketer. If I trained people how to market, I would probably do that. Did I say Hulu? Hold on. Not Hulu. Hulu is where I watch TV shows. Oh my God. Hold on. I got to type. I use 2 programs to publish my books. I'm sorry, I'm searching myself on Google to see if one of them will come up. Gosh. Too much crap comes up. Just go on Amazon and do that one. I think the detection dog manual is in there. What's the name of that? Gosh darn it. All right, hold on. I'm going to find it. I'm determined now. I can't remember why I can't. Detection dog manual. It's a Kindle edition. Talk about dog training with love and respect. Lulu, gosh, my gosh. All right, I'm going to put it here. I found it. I'll put the link for Lulu. Yes, Lulu. You'll find the detection dog manual in there. So hold on. I'll put it here in the comment section. Hulu. Yeah, actually, you can find me on Hulu. I did a couple shows on National Geographic and Nat Geo, and you'll find them on there. Yep, let me take down this comment that I should have taken off a long time ago. Sorry about that. All right. And then if you go to Amazon and just type in my name, Andy Falco Jimenez, you'll see some books in there. There you go. All right. Oops. There we go. Thank you. Thanks for laughing at me. So you'll find those on there. So, oh my gosh. So on leash, off leash, influence the dog. The dog should work independent. You've seen me do videos, possibly. I just did one with Honey, where she was sent into a group of attorneys. There were probably 150 in the room. Underneath two of the chairs were the fines. I sent the dog out, and she went out and searched and found him without me. So you can surely do it off leash, and I actually love off leash. Honey knows how to do a search, how to do the patterns, and it's just better. It's better in a lot of ways, especially when you're doing a demonstration, right? The dog does it without you, basically with your body language telling the dog to sit. The dog goes out and does it. The dog finds it, and you're done, right? The dog should be able to find something in almost any room within about a minute. That is long for small rooms, and it's about the right for most hotel rooms. So in a suite at the Chase Suites in Brea, I believe, I want to say they're 900 square feet. That's my guess. We tested a number of dogs when we put a find in a room or an empty room, where on an empty room, they were clearing the rooms in 2 minutes and making the finds within 30 seconds. So in a 900 square foot room, a dog should be able to clear it fairly quickly. If you're staying 4 and 5 minutes in a room, that's ridiculous. Your dog should have found it by then, or the odor is just simply not coming out where the dog can find it. It's just not going to be possible. And eventually your dog will sit because you've stayed in that room so long. The dog just figures, I've been here forever. I better sit because they've stayed in this room forever. So when you're going off leash, that helps you with that timing. You send the dog in, you can see the dog working. You can see the head turns and the stops and the licking of the lips. There was a couple licking of the lips. Did you catch those? Rewatch it, and you're going to see the dog actually licking the lips at the locations where the finds were on these particular searches. And you're going to see that from a distance. If you're too close, walking backwards, and you're saying seek, 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 right? You're having to repeat stuff. The dog's having to listen to you. It's just not. It's not good. It's not a good way to search. It's horrible. So try not to do that. All right. So unless I see the questions in here, Gina, hope you're staying cool. I'm glad that you joined me. I can see there's a number of people on here coming from other Facebook pages. As normal, please subscribe and like and share this video and our Facebook page. We'd really appreciate it. I think that we're giving out some good information. And again, if you don't agree, and if you think there's something that I'm saying that really offends you, I want you to type it in there. Don't hesitate to let me know that my shirt offends you because I like Hurley shirts or whatever, or you don't like my background that I have up here, whatever it is. If you don't like the dog training philosophies, that you think that you do need to be walking and doing seek, all bent over, doing this kind of search. If you think that is what you need to do, watching. There's a delay on my video here. That is good too. If that's what you were trained and taught, I've seen such ridiculous things like thousands of hours. Each dog is trained for 1,000 hours. That's a lot of hours for a dog to be trained. Truthfully, it doesn't take 1,000 hours. It's a lot less. If it's taking you 1,000 hours to train a dog, then you've selected the wrong dog. You don't know what you're doing. There's something desperately wrong, and it's ridiculous. You just need to know how to use the time that you're with the dog effectively and to do it well, right? And make few mistakes. I can point out mistakes as I watch those videos that I made, right? But they're still very few. When I watch somebody else train a dog and I watch, why'd you do that? Or, and so we're all going to make mistakes, right? We're all going to be late in the reward, or we're all going to reward too early, or it's going to fall out from underneath our armpit, or it's going to fall out of our back pocket, or what have you. All those things happen, but the least amount of those times is what's going to get you to move quickly through the training process, right? So you need to select the right dog. You need to have good technique and good information. It's not that you can't do it yourself. It's just going to take you a little bit longer, but it's still, even in worst case scenario, if it's taking you $1,000, I bet you have the wrong dog and you just simply don't know what you're doing. So don't do that. If you're starving dogs to get them to be motivated to make a find, there's something desperately wrong. You should not have to starve a dog if it's selected properly. Withholding food to get a dog to do something can be used effectively, but we're only talking maybe just not feed the dog in the morning. I'm not telling you I would never tell you to not feed a dog for a week, as trainers across the United States do, to then begin training the dog. It is not something that is healthy. It makes the dog become desperate for the find, and now the dog is searching to stay alive, which now takes away all the fun, and the dog doesn't search as well when it's desperate. If you could imagine being out in the forest and you're searching and hunting for fun, right? And you're going, hey, we're going to go get, we're going to go see if we can go get whatever animal. I don't want to offend anybody. A boar. I know there's some boar lovers out there, but you're out there to go get a boar. You're going to be a lot more tactical. You're going to be a lot more patient if you're doing it in the sense of fun, or not because you're starving to death. As you become desperate and starve, it is much harder to be quiet. It's much harder to not throw the spear too soon, or to shoot the gun from too far away, or to make noise. It becomes more difficult. And that is when you're starving a dog. The dog doesn't search happily. The dog doesn't search as effectively. The dog is doing it out of desperation. It is not healthy. And it's not healthy in the sense that you're starving a dog for a long period of time. And then only feeding him when he makes a find. That also, to me, is ridiculous. So that should never, if you're buying a dog and the trainer says, well, the dog doesn't eat unless he finds something, then you're probably in the wrong place, because that is just not a good way to do it. Again, if you're watching this, I think I started to mention this before. If you're watching this in another Facebook page other than Falco Canine Academy's Facebook page, if you want to comment on future videos or even this video, you need to simply go to the top and find where it says being shared by. It'll say Falco Canine Academy. Click on that. That'll bring you to the Facebook page where I can actually see your comments. If you're watching this and you're in the secret bed bug detection dog secret Facebook page, or if you're watching it in Police Dog Recruit, and you're commenting, I'm not going to see it until after the broadcast, and I basically go to those pages and look for it. All right, so just so you know. All right, Catherine, thank you so much. Gina, again, as usual, thank you for joining, and that will get you kind of up to date. I'm actually still about 4 days behind videos. Those videos I showed you from a few days ago, before 4th of July. So how many days ago that was. And so we are making more progress, and that is it. All right. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I will see you at the next one. I have to go get a car. My daughter's buying her first car. So we're going to go shopping for a new car. So wish me luck. All right. I'll see you at the next one. Take care.